And good morning. It is time for or afternoon or morning. Yes, it is morning still. It is time for the Focus on Stafford County show here on 1590 KVGB. Also 97.7 FM. In with us today, Stafford County Economic Development Director Carolyn Dunn, along with Program Director Ashley Bevan, and Kathleen is here today as well.
AmeriCorps Vista, Kathleen Norman.
Very good. Good to have you all on the program today. Again, I get to sit in because Steve Webster is out. Focus on Stafford County. Carolyn, what are we going to talk about today?
Good morning. Well, we're very excited about a program that we are launching this month to create a business incubator and remote workspace. I'll invite people to an open house we'll be having during the St. John Jubilee on Saturday from 10 to noon at our building at 311 Broadway. So we'll be able to I'll describe some of what we're doing today, but if you'd like to come see in person, really get a feel for the renovations that will be soon underway and what we'll be carrying out, we'd love to have you there at our open house.
Okay, so that is downtown St. John on the east side of the square then in the old pharmacy.
Correct.
So people have an idea of where that's at if they don't. Okay,
and
very
it probably will be hidden by some of the carnival activities. You might have to look for it a little, but we will be there from 10 to noon.
Definitely don't get caught up in the carnival.
Yeah.
Got to go around the skee ball trailer and then you're right there. Very good. Okay. So talk a little bit more about the open house and why you're wanting people to come visit, for your program.
I don't know. It's just kind of nice to be able to actually see something. We'll have some floor plans there to show how we are going to be reconfiguring the space. We'll have an area in the front that will be kind of what you might think of as a call center, those type of cubicles. We'll be partitioning off 3 separate offices that someone could rent and have a private office to work from. We'll have a break room and kind of reconfigure a kitchen area. And we'll also have a small conference room, an updated bathroom, which will be a very nice feature to incorporate because the bathroom leaves a little to be desired in its current state. And then some space for our 3 AmeriCorps positions to work from. Kathleen has actually been using some of her skills. She actually had some drafting skills that she brought to this. So she found an online program and really improved the floor plan that we had originally been kind of playing with.
I took drafting back in high school and have used other computer drawing programs since then. And so when we were starting to really figure out measurements and where things would go, what made sense, especially walking through the building more recently with another contractor, just to figure out how do we make everything work and best utilize the space that's there. So it's shaping out to be quite a nice facility.
Very good. So talk about what this means for Stafford County and St. John as well with this kind of space, because this is something that really isn't there.
Well, in a rural town, it's hard to recruit a significant employer. That's a reason I think a lot of us have been coached in the idea of entrepreneurship. Expand the businesses that you already have or work with the people you already have to create businesses. But that's also a slow go. Not everybody's ready to just launch a business. And we have some need for expanded job opportunities now, not a generation from now. So I'm hoping that this is a way to connect people with the companies that aren't necessarily located here, but will hire people from anywhere and create some immediate opportunity for job creation. Now, some of those people may find out, we've heard some stories from other similar facilities around the country. Somebody kind of figures out, hey, one example that always stands out in my mind is a woman who took a job as a broker for transportation. She was basically scheduling backhauls for semis. And once she got the hang of it, she said, I could do this on my own. And she broke out on her own and hired 2 or 3 people and had her own small business in their town. Now, if we can develop some opportunities like that would be great too. And that's the business incubator half of this remote work and business incubator facility.
Very cool. Okay, so again, talk a little bit more about the job availability then. What more can it provide?
There's a lot out there, and we are not necessarily experts ourselves in the range of jobs that are available or how to best access them. And so that's part of why we are developing a partnership with a company called Flex Jobs that basically does the vetting of companies so that you know that you're dealing with a legitimate opportunity, because there is some out there that aren't necessarily legitimate. Serves essentially as a job posting board. They also will help us do some intake assessments of individuals so that you can kind of filter through and focus on the job opportunities that are the best fit for an individual's particular skills or interests, because there's a wide range out there. And, I think a lot of the entry level jobs may be where we start. Those might be data entry, writing, customer service is probably a big one. And those are good, legitimate jobs for telecommuters, but there's a lot more, I think, that we could have an eye toward too, whether that is developing a person to increase their skill set to fit that, or we may find that there's people that are already suited to other jobs that are out there. So, for example, I pulled some information of the most common remote jobs and how much they pay from the FlexJobs site. Some of the common ones that are out there: account manager. I think this really relates a lot to sales. They work with clients and give presentations. Some account manager roles may involve sales and travel, but average pay is $52,000. Accountant, $50,000 average pay. Bookkeeper, $41,000 a year average pay. Business development manager, they typically work to gain new clients and business via phone, emails, and in-person meetings and video calls. They typically need to have some previous sales experience, and some positions may require specific knowledge of an industry, but the average pay there is $71,000. Software developer, $69,000. Medical coder, $40,000. A nurse, I actually have had some personal experience with that recently. With an injury I had, the nurse that handled my claim is based in Virginia, and so she's a good example of not all nurses work with their patients, physically in the same room. An online tutor. We actually spent some time listening to a presentation on that. And the two companies that we took a look at are hiring tutors to teach English specifically in China. You would have an individual student that you'd work with, and those, one company paid $13 an hour, another company we looked at paid about $20 an hour. And that is the kind of thing that I think that probably if someone were interested in it, the qualifications are pretty general, and it's a pretty accessible kind of job for a lot of people to get. Speech language pathologist, that pays an average of $59,000 a year. So you get the idea. There's a range of opportunities, and ultimately what we're trying to do is open up more of those opportunities to be more accessible, even in Stafford County, America.
Sure. So are these types of jobs that people in Stafford County will then take on, or is this kind of something where maybe recruiting people into the county to do these jobs remotely? What's the thought there?
Well, we'll start with probably the people that are there, but
sure.
Hey, I would love to put up billboards that say we always have jobs available in Stafford County.
And just like we were talking before we came up here, I mean, that was part of your presentation to the St. John senior class. You can go out and get an education. Some of these are still professional level jobs that need an education, but here's an opportunity. You can come back home and do these remotely. You don't have to live in the big city always to follow through with your dreams and aspirations.
Right. And there are those that want to get out and go and explore and do those things and then never come back. And there are some that are, I want to go out and do that and I want to come back.
Right.
Or there's just those that I just want to stay here.
Right.
So
we do make an effort to connect with seniors in all of the high schools as they leave. And she's talking about a presentation I gave to the seniors here in St. John that kind of referenced some survey data, some research that had been done in 3-state area, Nebraska, Missouri, and Kansas over 5 years. And I would guess that a lot of what they found in those surveys would also apply to Stafford County. So, nearly 9 in 10 plan to attend college or trade school. I think that's pretty consistent with what I see in Stafford County. And when surveyed, a majority of those kids would say they can picture themselves living in the area they grew up in the future. They have family ties, and they see it as a good place to raise a family. But one piece of this is they were also hearing the message from adults that they should go seek their future elsewhere. The adults are by and large sending a message that to be successful, you have to go somewhere else. I hope we're reversing that kind of, I don't know, just that discussion in our area. But I wanted to make sure, if nothing else, on the night that the week that they graduated, that they were hearing from someone a different message, if that's what they've been hearing before. But the surveys showed that 43% of youth saw greater chances for economic and professional success beyond the region they call home, which isn't a surprise. But here's what we're trying to do is to say that if that's your barrier, there are some jobs that are of that professional level that we can help you find no matter where you are.
Yeah, and that's just the thing is the get out of here, do better for yourself. Small towns are dying, all this, and it's all the negativity that's just come on, people. That's all I can say is because and young kids that are graduating, and I can't wait to get out of here, and then they get down the road a little bit and they realize, ooh, I want to go home.
Well, yeah, I think it's healthy to go have an experience outside of the immediate area you grew up in, to get the work experience, get the education, just get some life experience. Honestly, you're probably more of an asset to your community if you do choose to come home after having some of that kind of experience.
Right.
So by all means, go embrace that. Just know that if you feel like you had a good, upbringing, if this was a great place to raise a family, that it's a good option to come home to that too.
Sure. So talking about this type of remote workspace, are you thinking maybe doing this if this thing gets done and is successful and running and going, maybe doing this in other places within Stafford County?
We would love to. In fact, we've been looking at setting the stage for that in the town of Stafford. So we've been working on it. We've honestly run into, I kid you not, 17 dead ends on locations, like buildings. So that's also kind of that paradox we've talked about before in this context, that we have empty spaces, vacant buildings, stuff that's used for storage, but it isn't necessarily, even though it's not being used for something else, it's not necessarily available for a new use. So we're working through that. I think, pragmatically speaking, it might require us finding the funding to build something new. But we'll continue working on that because I think it's the kind of thing that can be very applicable no matter what town we're in anywhere, Stafford County or elsewhere.
Very good. So talk a little bit more about the space itself again and what it will provide within this project.
So some of the biggest things with doing remote work revolve around technology. One of it is that you have to have, high-speed broadband internet. Employers do tests to see if your system and capabilities meet their requirements before you can get hired. Beyond having that high-speed internet, there's also needing to have up-to-date computers. You can't have equipment that's more than 5 years old. And even with that, they require a certain processing speed. I know when we've started looking at what to equip in the space, we're looking at about $800 because you're looking at, needing to have like i3, i5 Intel processors. But then also looking at, besides like that $800, the $800, we're looking at, you're adding software onto that computer. So that's probably close to another $160. You need to have a good antivirus. So that's $20. And then some of the jobs, especially if you're doing, say, like the online tutoring or customer service, you need to have a headset. So you can hear audio-wise, but also a microphone. And so some of the ones we've been looked at that are industry standard are about $100. And so, just to kind of look at starting up from working from home would be about $1,060, not including your monthly internet, which to have that high speed would probably run somewhere between, $60 to $75. And so that's one of the nice things that this workspace will provide is that you don't have that upfront cost. The equipment will be provided, it'll be serviced and updated regularly. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about annual maintenance. You don't have, if something goes wrong, it's not your problem per se. It's our problem. But then we just have a flat monthly rate that not only do you have no startup cost, you'd get that kind of career coaching and support to find the job you need as opposed to having to go it on your own, which can be very daunting. The high-speed internet would be there. It's a dedicated work environment. Not everyone has necessarily a conducive home environment. Either there's children, adults, other adults that aren't working, there's pets, dirty dishes, laundry, things that might get in the way of focusing and getting done the work you need to do. And also it's kind of nice because there'll be other people also doing similar remote work. So you'll have coworkers even though you're working independently. And what we've seen sometimes, working from home can be kind of isolating because you live at home, you work at home, like you don't have a reason to leave the house. And so this kind of helps give you some of that socialization and really allows for, a higher quality living. You're increasing income, you're having that socialization. And so really adds to quality of life.
That's fantastic. So talk a little bit about how this is going to come together in the respect of getting the space done.
Well, I hope we can get those renovations started really soon. We actually have the Bike and Build group that has visited Stafford County a couple of times in the past is coming through again this year. They're scheduled to be here on July 3rd, and so we'll have about between 25 and 30 young adults ready to put in an energetic day of sweat equity, labor to help us. So I'm hoping that we will have the renovations far enough along that they can help us by painting and putting in carpet squares in the space, which would, be some of the final pieces of getting a space ready to actually work in. So my goal is that we will have this program really ready to take in new clients in July or August.
Wow. That's moving right along then. That'll be great. So, again, talk about open house and inviting everyone in to come check this out.
So, yes, please come by from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday at 311 Broadway in downtown St. John. We will probably be right behind the carnival equipment, but we're not that hard to find.
Well,
Please
and
come
you'll know right where you are then. Right by the carnival.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll have some light refreshments, some drinks and snacks, do some drawings. We have some economic development t-shirts we'd like to give away, every now and then for everyone that comes through and signs in. So I'm hoping it's a fun little event Saturday.
I hope people
Jubilee.
too. Yeah, we'll take a greater appreciation for how this is really kind of a community asset. One thing I'm even going to give credit to is we've had volunteers that have helped us with lawn work there. So for the last 2 years, Craig Weigel has generously just taken care of mowing the lawn for us. And this year he's handing the baton, and our St. John High School football team is taking on some new community service projects and has agreed to mow the lawn there and at one other location for Stafford County Economic Development for the coming summer. So, when we get those pieces of help, it allows us to dedicate our limited funds to something else that helps us further this work. So we appreciate all of that.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So rain or shine, this is happening. So if there's a little sprinkle out there, then go take shelter and then you'll be able to enjoy the open house, and that'll be great.
We have a bathroom that is better than the porta potty, but only incrementally better. You'll appreciate all the more the renovations that are in store.
Very good. So yes, we do have a couple of more minutes here on the program, but certainly, what else would you like to add?
Well, one thing that I think two people are interested in from talking to some of the locals, the upstairs apartment at 311 will also be open during the open house, because I know there's been people interested in wanting to see and check out the view from there. So besides just looking at the space that we're going to be turning in, the upstairs apartment will be open for tour.
And that is part of our program.
Yeah,
too, so.
yeah. And luckily, when we purchased that building, the upstairs was fairly ready to go. I mean, all we've had to do is lightly furnish it for, so far, just Kathleen. But if we have other AmeriCorps visitors that apply, we have a couch and a TV in the living room. Some, minor amenities, I guess. But for the most part, the apartment was ready to go. And I think that ended up being an easy, hey, we can get this program going faster with this building if we get it on our hands. So,
very cool.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Very cool. So I see here on the list photo contest. Ashley, tell me more about that here real quick.
Yes. Our annual photo contest at the county fair in July, we'll be doing that again. So our different categories, people, places, and commerce. These depict individuals interacting within the county. Pictures have to be within the county. We use these on our website, promotional materials. I can't always get out and about to take photos just to put on the website. So we do have this contest again. Winner in each of the 3 categories wins $25. There's a photo release that you have to sign. You can find that on our website. It's underneath the Play tab on our website. 10 a.m. Wednesday, July 17th is when photo submissions have to be entered at the county fairgrounds in Stafford. So I'm looking forward to getting some of those submissions from people.
Absolutely. So hopefully we can get you a bunch of people in on your open house this weekend.
I hope so.
I happen to know the MC. I'll put a bug in his ear to send people that way.
Perfect.
Very good. So again, a phenomenal project, and hopefully this thing just comes together for you guys, because it's another great opportunity. Again, so many people talking, and you have half that are so rural Kansas, and then others that are just trying to knock it down. And these types of efforts are what are truly keeping us moving forward. So it's certainly a phenomenal project, and adding more to our communities and to our county.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's something that I get so irritated with people when they're like, "Oh, boo, move somewhere bigger." No. And especially once you get out for a little while, like I did in college and things, and after college, and I go, "Man, I really liked it there. I want to go back there."
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, housing. And then you're going, okay, well, career, what am I going to do? And then, and something like this is just phenomenal for those people that want to stay within their communities that treated them so well, So fantastic idea, fantastic project. I can't wait to see it this weekend. I'll be by.
Thank you so much.
I promise. Hey, thank you so much for coming in today. The Focus on Stafford County program here on 1590 KVGB and 97.7 FM. Top of the hour, ABC News headed your way. KVGB, Great Bend.